Here's part 2 of How to Flip Your Classroom by yours truly, Dustin Fowler. In the last video, I talked a little bit about some of the basics. We defined what a flipped classroom is, and I talked to you just a little bit general stuff about how to hold students accountable, using EdPuzzle and YouTube channels and things of this nature. Maybe even a little bit about format or how it's going to take some practice for you to get good. Another thing that I want to mention that I should have mentioned in my first video is that you should have a goal, and that goal should be both intrinsic as well as something that is measurable to some degree for how you're going to increase your success and your student success. Your success as an instructor, your student success as, well, students and learners. If you don't have a goal for the use of instructional materials, including technology, you should not be using that technology. Bottom line, bam, boosh! So if you don't have a goal, first thing I want you to do is go make yourself a goal and then work really hard in achieving that goal through meaningful assignments and meaningful videos or meaningful whatever it is you're going to use to flip your instruction. Now that I got that out of the way, I talked a little bit about screen capture software, and so I want to delve a little bit more deeply into that, and then I want to tell you a little bit more about what it is that I am doing in my classroom, how I go about flipping my classroom. Might not be exactly what you expect. So the thing with screen capture software, and the reason why it's so very effective as a flip instruction medium, and also the reason why a lot of people choose to do it, is because, well, it's pretty easy and you don't have to do huge amounts of post-editing. In fact, really, you don't have to do any post-editing. Again, you might have to practice to get to the point where your videos are short, concise, and without too many errors to make it usable. But when I edit videos such as the one that I'm making right now, it usually takes me hours, maybe even 2 or 3 hours to edit videos, depending on the length. When I was using Blueberry software to make instructional videos for my students based on PowerPoints, it actually took me about, if my video came out to be 20 minutes long, which is too long, but if it came out to be 20 minutes long, it usually took me about 30 to 35 minutes to make the video. Screen capture software oftentimes gives you the ability to pause so you can collect your thoughts. And so if I needed to look at a PowerPoint slide and maybe even read a little bit of extra on it in order to know exactly how I'm going to pitch the material in my video presentation, then oftentimes I would pause and I would look at that stuff and read, which takes a little bit more time, and then unpause and pick up in the same breath. You can actually be saying a sentence, pause, and then pick back up in the same sentence, and most of the time it's relatively seamless. Also, most of your screen capture software produces a relatively tiny file so that you are able to put it on several different video streaming applications like YouTube or EdPuzzle or Office 365 or however it is you want to deliver your content, and students are able to access it easily. Also, with those smaller files, you're able to put them on flash drives. The first year that I flipped my classroom, I had students give me their flash drives. I used my computer to very quickly put all of the instructional videos on their flash drives, and that was why I used the front load instruction. Most screen capture software is pretty easy to understand, pretty easy to learn. It all works basically the same way. Again, I recommend Screencasting, explain everything, or what I used to use is Blueberry software, but that might be a little bit more cumbersome for you, but the links will be in the description regardless. Now, let me tell you the secret behind my own flipped classroom, and that is I don't use a whole lot of my stuff. I genuinely love making videos, but most of the stuff that I use for my students are things that I found that other people have already done. And some of my absolute favorites, again, I teach AP Human Geography, and some of my absolute favorites include TED Ed or TED Talks in general, or other teachers that teach AP Human Geography. I use some of their stuff. I use Vlogbrothers with John Green and Hank. I use a lot of the Crash Course stuff. So there's a plethora of videos out there that where people have already taken what you are trying to teach and have already made videos that are applicable that you don't have to make. And they're also typically pretty short, the ones that I find. Some of them are 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe no more than 10 minutes. And oftentimes these guys do as good or better job than I would do if I tried to teach the same stuff. So a lot of videos that I put on my YouTube channel I have not assigned to my students, and that's the important, and that's the key. Some people say, well, I think it's a great idea to make your own videos and personalize the course, get your students to know you better. Well, In online education, that makes a little bit more sense, but in a flipped classroom instruction, I feel like it's good to have guest speakers come in and give a different opinion or present material in a different way than students are going to hear from you all the time. That's what I call them. I call them my guest speaker. I feel like, in particular in the subject of human geography, nothing is better than a differentiated approach to not only how the course is done and delivered, but in particular with the opinions that go into it. I want my students to be multifaceted. I don't want them to go around spitting out what I feel like passionate about or what my opinions are based in. So take a look around YouTube. Look and see what there is. I spend so much time there. It's a real, like I said, it's a hobby for me. So there's a wealth of information on pertaining to every single subject area. If you really want to flip your classroom, it is going to take a little bit of upfront time from you. So feel free to see what other teachers have already done. One final note in this second part of this video is that if you look at EdPuzzle, you can already find videos where people have done exactly what I was telling you to do in the first video. That is, they have already gone through and added questions and comments and things to make the learning more meaningful on certain videos. So feel free to start there and do a little bit of a search to find out what people have already done. I think you'll find it very, very helpful. Thank you for watching Volume 2 of Flipping Your Classroom with Dustin Fowler.